The 2024 Vondee Globe round-the-world race starts in 10 days and public favorite, Herrmann has arrived in his imoca, Sea Explorer at the start marina. In this video he talks about his dreams and his fears of sailing alone around the world at full pace.
The Vondee Globe is about conquering challenges and digging deep within myself, finding the power to overcome anything. It has become my everyday motor, my fear, my childhood dream. It has become my life. It is in the details, the planning and mitigating the risks. It involves taking responsibility for tough decisions alone, trusting my instincts and overcoming fear. For 3 months I will be alone in the most hostile places on our planet, racing as hard as I can. But I am carried by the energy of so many who share the same spirit in a much wider sense. While broadcasting live from the boat, I will bring the public to the most remote parts of the ocean, including children who will follow our educational program. This race advances ocean and climate science by providing crucial data from the vastly undersampled southern oceans and highlights the climate action undertaken by our partners. I'm inspired by those who, just like us, refuse to accept no, strive to make the impossible possible, and strongly believe in the incredible things we can achieve together. Because no matter what, however this human and technological adventure ends, this is a race we can win. It is a race we must win. This is what the Vondee Globe means to me.
This is your weekly global sailing highlights show, The World on Water, November 1st, 2024. For Rogier Van Overveld and the crew of Balthasar, the Rolex Middle Sea Race was a true test of endurance, skill, and strategy. The Maxi 72 crossed the finish line at 13:40.25 CEST on October 22, 2024, delivering an outstanding performance that secured them the win in PIC Class 1. With an elapsed time of 3 days, 1 hour, 30 minutes, and 25 seconds, Balthasar's mastery of the racecourse was undeniable, finishing second overall under PIC.
The boat I'm sailing on is named Balthasar. It's a family project. That's the whole idea, to combine my friends who are amateurs with a couple of his friends and a couple of professionals.
It is just a really nice group of guys, and I'm really enjoying sailing with them, and I hope we're going to do much more, and this is only the beginning.
It was a very challenging first night, a classic Middle Sea Race. We had our fair share of carnage, you might say, but managed to escape it with all our fingers and toes intact.
I think we've seen all of it. We've seen very windy downwind, windy upwind, no wind, and the beautiful islands around, so it was super cool.
The boat is strong, much stronger than we thought. The weather is great, but then you have from 0 to 45 knots, you have rain, you have thunder, you have lightning, so it's super intense, and it's every minute you have to be on the ball.
There were a bunch of different forecasts floating around. We ended up sort of light air running, and then there was a little transition, and then we were beating.
Well, yeah, in the end it's a race not to be underestimated. And seeing next to Lucky was for us was great for the morale. Yeah, it's good to sail with boats around you. It definitely motivates. And yeah, we're happy we've beaten them all in our class, so that's the most important.
No two of the 67 starters in this year's PIC Coastal Classic were identical. That is where the handicap system kicks in, giving opportunity to any boat, no matter how big, small, new or old, to take away a victory based on how well they sailed the boat on the day. The first finishers took more than 14 hours to complete the course, the last more than 24 hours, making it one of the longer events in the race's history. Just 39 boats finished the upwind race.
Auckland's Waitemata Harbour was a sight to behold. It was a dazzling spectacle of sailboats, all shapes and sizes. The 2024 PIC Coastal Classic was about to kick off. The air crackled with anticipation. It was a heady mix of salt air and excitement. The starting gun fired. The fleet surged forward. It was a mad dash to the first mark. Imagine 1,000 white butterflies erupting from a box. That was the starting line of the Coastal Classic. This wasn't just a race, it was a pilgrimage. Sailors from around the globe had answered the siren call of the Classic. They were drawn to its legendary status, its challenging course. It was 119 nautical miles of pure sailing nirvana. The destination rustled in the stunning Bay of Islands, a place where legends are made and dreams are tested. The wind was a fickle mistress. A moderate northerly breeze filled the sails at the start. It propelled the boats towards their northern objective. It was a good omen, or so they thought. The sun beat down on the sparkling water. It glinted off the sails. The boats cut through the waves. They left a trail of white foam in their wake. The sea was alive with the sound of flapping sails and the whoosh of water. The crews were in their element. This was what they lived for. The thrill of the race, the camaraderie, the sheer joy of being at one with the wind and the waves. But the Coastal Classic was not for the faint of heart. It was a race that would test the limits of their skill, their endurance, their boats, and themselves. The early stages of any race are always a bit hairy. Boats jockey for position, tempers flare, and sometimes things go wrong. The 2024 PIC Coastal Classic was no exception. Several boats were forced to retire early. Gear failure, collisions, the usual suspects. It was a harsh reminder of the unforgiving nature of the race. One of the early casualties was the Super Maxi Fat Freddy. She suffered damage and had to limp back to Auckland. Gutting, but that's racing. It's never easy pulling out of a race, said a dejected skipper, nursing a bruised ego in a damaged boat. But sometimes you just have to play it safe. The Coastal Classic is a marathon, not a sprint. It's about pacing yourself, knowing when to push and when to hold back. Battling on a test of skill and determination. Despite the early setbacks, the remaining boats pressed on. The wind continued to play havoc. It shifted, died, and roared back to life. It kept the crews on their toes. It was a real test of skill and determination, commented veteran sailor Adrian Percival, his face weathered by years of seafaring. The conditions were constantly changing, forcing us to adapt and think on our feet. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, casting long shadows across the water, the fleet spread out. Each boat was locked in its own private battle against the elements. The Coastal Classic is as much a mental game as a physical one. It's about digging deep, finding that extra reserve of strength when you think you have nothing left. And for the sailors still out there battling the elements and chasing glory, the race was far from over. A motley crew from super yachts to humble heroes. The beauty of the Coastal Classic lies in its inclusivity. It attracts a wonderfully diverse fleet. Sleek, high-tech super yachts rub shoulders with humble cruising yachts, each with its own story to tell, its own ambitions for the race. This year, the top 10 finishers were a real mixed bag. You had your usual suspects, the big boys with their professional crews, but you also had a couple of smaller boats sailed by passionate amateurs. One of the most heartwarming stories emerged from the heart of the pack. Osprey, a plucky little yacht crewed by a group of university students, was holding her own. They were giving the more experienced sailors a run for their money. It was a testament to the spirit of the race, where David can challenge Goliath. Camaraderie at sea, the unsung heroes of the Classic. The Coastal Classic is about fierce competition, no question. But it's also about something more. It's about the camaraderie that exists among sailors, a shared love of the sea, a respect for its power, a willingness to lend a hand when needed. Remember Fat Freddy, the super Maxi that had to retire early? Well, the crew of Romanza, one of the leading contenders for line honours, stopped to offer assistance. They sacrificed precious time to help a fellow competitor. It was a gesture that embodied the true spirit of the Coastal Classic. "We're all in this together," said Romanza's skipper, his words echoing the sentiments of many. The sea is a harsh mistress, and we have to look out for each other. It's this spirit of sportsmanship, this unspoken bond between sailors, that makes the Coastal Classic so special. The enduring allure of the PIC Coastal Classic. As the first boats crossed the finish line in Russell, exhausted but exhilarated, the sun painted the sky in hues of orange, pink and purple, a fitting end to another epic chapter. What captures the imagination? The challenge, the distance, the conditions, the allure of conquering an iconic course. The history, since 1939, a living testament to adventure. The people, from veterans to newcomers, united by passion, respect and love for sailing, thanks to PIC insurance brokers.
Another popular skipper in the Vondee Globe race is Pip Hare. She made this video as she set out from her home port of Poole-to-France to join the other yachts in the race village for the start of the race next week. Good luck, Pip.
The day's finally upon us. Today I'm leaving our home port of Poole in Dorset and heading out for final sea trials, ending up in Les Sables for the start of the Vondee Globe race. Amazing a turnout on the quay this morning and people wishing me well, and all these boats on the water here. I can't believe it. I feel so supported and I feel so proud, and we're ready to race.
An intense and enthralling 2024 Rolex Middle Sea Race concluded on Saturday, the 26th of October. Contested by an international fleet of 112 yachts, the 45th edition of the 606 nautical mile race was typically challenging and presented crews with a myriad of weather conditions. Emerging as overall race winner on handicap was the TP52 Red Bandit, crewed primarily by young German sailors developing their offshore racing experience under a pathway program created by skipper Karl-Peter Forster. Scallywag 100 had earlier claimed line honours as the first boat to finish.
Extraordinary prowess, a mountainous challenge, and just rewards at the 45th edition of the Rolex Middle Sea Race. Red Bandit, a 52-foot yacht crewed predominantly by young German sailors, has been announced as the winner of the 2024 Rolex Middle Sea Race. The TP52 crossed the finish line just after midnight on Wednesday morning to post an unassailable time in what has been a gripping race.
It was one of these Rolex Middle Sea races which had it all. Great start, quite windy, probably one of the very windy starts, which is lovely in the harbor. But then we had one of these vicious thunderstorms calls. Some boat experienced 60 knots, we experienced 45 knots. We survived well, and then we had a beautiful view on Stromboli.
And then it was back to the business of racing. Red Bandit finding themselves in a three-way tussle with past winners Teasing Machine, Kuka 3 and Spirit of Larina.
We knew if we could just hang on and don't allow them to go away too far with our good rating, we might do well.
And hang on they did, sailing an exemplary race.
I'm super proud of the team, and I'm absolutely over the moon of having done it.
With the overall winners and line honours titles decided, there was time to reflect on what has been a memorable and at times dramatic race.
The overall winner of the Rolex Middle Sea Race is Red Bandit.
The Swan One Design Worlds came to a dramatic conclusion in Palma de Mallorca, with the world champions in 3 Club Swan racing classes crowned, 2 by a single point, and the season-long Nations League contest ultimately decided. Boats from Brazil, Germany, and Spain took the top spots as world champions, with Håkan Lorentzon's Mamau, Brazil, claiming the Club Swan 36 title after overhauling overnight leader and 3-time race winner Black Battalion, with Eduardo Ferragamo's Cordilleon third.
It's the final day of the Swan One Design World Championships. By sunset, we will have crowned 3 new champions in the Club Swan 50, 42 and 36 classes. Racing will get underway from 10:30, 3 races are scheduled, and the excitement is building in the air. It's all set to unfold on the 4th and final day here in Palma de Mallorca.
I'm overwhelmed, you know. This is only my 4th season with Club Swan, and I came to Club Swan 50 as a newcomer. Never sailed regattas before, so you can imagine how great I feel today.
I think that the 42 class is very strong at the moment, and it's a pleasure to participate in all these events. I'm very proud, I'm very happy.
I was 68 when I won my first World Championship in my life, and now I'm 70 winning the second one. I think never give up, fight till the finish. We fought and we managed.
We managed to keep the team strong and in the end win, so I'm happy about that.
For me, the most important thing is that my rivals are getting better and better. We have so many new people which are coming into the races, they are improving a lot, and that is obviously forcing you to improve as well, so it's much more fun.
Great class, great sailing. We'll look forward to next season.
After 3 splendid days of variable, but mostly sunny weather and wind always between 15 and 20 knots, the 3rd edition of the IS Aero Youth Team Race European Championship, held in the waters of Susicu in Cagliari and organized by the Società Canottieri Ignusa and the Lega Navale del Solsize by delegation of the Italian Sailing Federation, ended with an extraordinary victory for Italy too. the Italian team, made up of Alla Susarello and Filippo Vincis, athletes of the Lega Navale del Solsize, in the lead after the round-robin concluded on Saturday, had to face the semi-finals on Sunday to try to reach the finals and aim for victory. Fortunately, the weather, which vented during the night in a heavy thunderstorm, on Sunday morning still reserved sunshine and perfect wind conditions of 10 to 15 knots, allowing the race committee to quickly continue with the program, which was completed.
Domenica 27 ottobre siamo in collegamento dallo stadio di Susiku in Cagliari con la finale tra Italia 2 e Ucraina. Vediamo che sono iniziate le fasi di partenza e sono partiti Boa 4, siamo in dirittura d'arrivo, l'atleta ucraina sta aspettando e naviga con Filippo Vincis, mentre Alice Sussarello naviga al centro linea per andare a tagliare. Filippo Vincis taglia il traguardo. Eccoci sulla linea di partenza di gara 2, sempre con la sinistra del chiro, e vediamo che si appropinquano a tagliare. Italia 2 va a tagliare in questo momento. Diciamo che siamo sotto controllo, si avvicina a tagliare il traguardo Alice Sussarello, taglia in questo momento e vediamo a seguire Filippo Vincis. Taglia Filippo Vincis, vittoria di Italia 2, con Filippo Vincis che taglia il traguardo. Alice, missione a caldo.
Bellissimo, siamo troppo divertiti, abbiamo fatto un bel 3-0 e ora festeggiamo!
Eccoci in compagnia di Alice, fresca vincitrice del Team Race Campionato Europeo a Cagliari in casa. Dici tutto!
Up to 4-meter wave faces created plenty of drama and action for the 40th anniversary of the Aloha Classic Playa Surf CBBC Grand Final at Hukapa Beach Park in Maui, Hawaii. The variable winds occasionally wreaked havoc for competitors in selecting the right gear as it shifted from very light to very windy at seemingly random moments, but the solid waves held all day, providing the right platform for a mind-blowing show. Here are the best waves on day 2.